there, how's your day been? Thanks for joining me for House Blend. If you came from my old channel, then you know you're gonna recognize House Blend as basically being the new skill link for this channel. If you weren't on my old channel, then I guess I'll tell you what House Blend / skill link was and is and was, whatever. And that is, basically it's just gonna be a speed art underneath, the video is gonna be a speed art, and there's gonna be a little music underneath like usual, but I am going to talk over it. And it's gonna be different from if you saw Throwback Thursday. I did generally I spent the whole time talking about the character at hand. I spent the whole time talking about the drawing I was doing, basically. House Blend is not going to be like that. House Blend, I'm going to talk about basically whatever's on my mind, whatever I feel like. On my old channel, Skill Link was one of the more popular or more anticipated series, I guess. So you know that I had to bring this over. That was definitely I guess that was kind of the main event of my channel. That was the biggest thing that I looked forward to doing, and that was a lot of what a lot of my old subscribers and, you know, a lot of the ones who probably came over here were looking forward to the most. House Blend, the name comes from, you know, blend is like a type of coffee, so it's blending my talking and my art, and it's the house specialty, so House Blend. I'm so clever, and and yeah, that's that, I guess. Before we dive into today's topic, I do want to mention a little bit about this piece. This is a character of mine. His name is Yllanan. He is an alien. I haven't quite come up with a species name for the aliens yet, but he's the same species as my other character, Yllanan. They're not actually related, they're just of the same species. If you don't know who Yllanan is, then you'll probably, to be honest, in the near future, I'll probably put up a speed art of Yllanan, so you'll meet them then. I didn't intend for him to be shirtless. I don't know how far this video has gotten, but I really, when I sketched this out, I didn't intend for him to be shirtless. I just ended up really liking the way his muscle structure was coming, so I was like, I mean, I can't cover it up with a shirt now, can I? So yeah, that kind of ended up dictating the rest of the piece. He was supposed to be out in some kind of public lounge with pillows and stuff, reading a book and drinking coffee, and it ended up being in his bedroom, so I don't know, whatever. I also wanted to mention, later on in the video, when I get to the the coloring process, you're going to see me use some textures. They came from transparenttextures.com. They're completely free to use, and I really enjoy them, honestly. I really enjoy the way the website is set up. I really enjoy the textures, and I just wanted to, I don't know if they require me to credit them or not, but I wanted to make sure that I mentioned it because somebody asked me about it on my Caffeine Rush, because I did use some textures in that drawing. And I don't know, I found it to be a really useful tool, so I wanted to share that with any of my fellow art and design friends who may be in need of something like that. So yeah, I think that's about it. That's about all I wanted to mention, and we're a clean 3 minutes into this video, so it would be a great time to actually start talking about today's topic. And today's topic, I took a long time to think about what I wanted to talk about. And a lot of it was I'm gonna be talking about a lot of emotional stuff on House Blend. I used to do that all the time with Skill Link, so I'm expecting it to end up that way for House Blend as well, especially since I want to cover some of the old topics again. Yeah, so it's gonna be talking about a lot of emotional and deep stuff that really moves me, and stuff that because basically the emotional stuff is the stuff I care about talking about the most. So I do want to, I guess I wanted to start off by talking about emotion a little bit. Very specifically, why I feel that being emotional and being vulnerable is not a bad thing. And I guess we'll just start right now. When I was a kid, or I guess just my whole life really, I've been a really emotional person. Things affect me very deeply. Things happening to me, they shake me to my core, and if I was bullied a lot, and that really shaped who I am today, honestly. And I mean, in a very real way, it's probably the biggest reason that I have depression at this point. And we'll talk about depression at a later time. I don't want to focus on it too much for this one. I just want to talk about emotion in general, not extreme emotion. But yeah, I've always been very emotional, and And like, you know, like good things make me feel really, really happy. Like I always like when friends are having a great time with things, even if I'm not really involved with those things, it makes me very happy. But when, you know, when I see somebody suffering, whether it be somebody I know, somebody I don't know, or myself, I guess, it moves me a lot inside. It makes me very sad. It hurts me genuinely. And if any of you out there is the emotional type of person, you will definitely recognize these lines. I would hear it a lot from my parents, from friends, from teachers and guidance counselors and stuff, is you can't be that emotional. You can't let things affect you like that. That's the biggest one. You can't let things affect you like that. And you know, like you can't let things hurt you like this, you know, if you let yourself be so vulnerable, you're gonna get hurt a lot. If you let yourself be so emotional, you're gonna get hurt a lot. I would hear that all the time. I was always told about how bad it was for me to be so emotional. I was always told that. And I spent a long time trying to figure out how to stop being so emotional. I tried to start telling myself that I hated everybody. You know, I've spent some time trying to hate everybody, or tried to hate, you know, the people who hurt me and stuff. And that didn't really help. Because I couldn't, honestly. It's really hard for me to even think about trying to actually really hate someone. You know, like I'll throw the word around a lot, and it's silly. I really do use the word hate a lot. Like I hate you, I hate this, hate my cat. I don't hate my cat. I don't hate people. It's just something that I've kind of grown to tell myself, I guess, to make me, just to help me deal with things a little better. And it probably did come a lot from people telling me that I needed to stop being so emotional. It's kind of like a defense mechanism for me now, and it's kind of stupid and whatever, but that's how I handle things a little bit, I guess. Yeah, it didn't really work. It still doesn't work. I still care about stuff. I still did care about things back then as well. And, I don't know, I spent so long trying to figure out how to stop being emotional, because I figured that's how other people did it, you know? Like, I didn't see other people being as emotionally vulnerable as I was all the time, and so I figured they just didn't care, you know? Like, they found a way. Either they were born that way, they came into this world and they just didn't care about anything, or, you know, or they learned some kind of magic trick that I never figured out, and that's how they don't care about things. And I don't know, man, it's just like, it was really, really weird for me to be in this place where I couldn't figure out how to be like everybody else, how I couldn't turn off my emotions like everybody kept basically telling me to. They were essentially just telling me to just turn them off. Do not do the thing. Do not feel the thing. Stop that. And it's just like, I can't just do that. I could never just do that. And I guess coming into my adult life, I honestly really do think that they were wrong. I genuinely think that they, like my parents and my teachers and whatever, I feel like they were very wrong to tell me to try not to feel. For one, it's really hard. First of all, I really do think like it's impossible to turn that kind of thing off, to just stop being emotional, to just stop caring. And there are people out there who pretend that they don't care, and tell themselves and tell everybody else that they don't care. But if they were really brought into this world and have always been a caring person, I think it takes something really, like, if it's even possible, it takes something really, really just massively big to actually cause you to stop caring at all and stop being emotional and stop being vulnerable like you were before. And so, if it is impossible or nearly impossible to do so, telling somebody to stop feeling and to stop being emotional probably can be really damaging. I can't say for myself if I'm sure if I thought really hard about it, maybe I could figure it out, but I don't know if hearing that all the time actually, like, emotionally damaged me or not. Maybe it could have, maybe it did, I don't know, but I feel like it can. I feel like that could be a thing where, you know, like, we're trying so hard to not be upset about things that would usually upset you. Like, I feel like that would really hurt somebody. I feel like that would really, like, damage somebody if they, like, especially, like, not only, like, the world is so, it's so, like, harsh on failure that we as people are harsh on ourselves for failure. So, you know, for failing to stop being emotional, now you're even more emotional because you're angry at yourself for not being able to not be angry and not be sad. And, you know, like, it's this feeling of failure now, and it's this feeling of what's wrong with me, you know, why can't I do what everybody else does? And I think that's all a big fat lie. I think it's a big freaking lie. I don't think that there's really as many people out there as people claim that, you know, that just don't care. There are people out there. I know that. I'm almost certain of that. I can't say for sure, obviously. Maybe everybody is very emotional and they're just emotional in bad ways. I don't know, but there are some people out there who will say and do very awful things, and it appears as if nothing ever affects them. But I genuinely believe that there are more people out there than we realize, I guess, who are very emotional and who are very in tune with, I don't know, just like everything, I guess. And I guess I think that's I really think that's an amazing thing. I really think that's a very amazing thing. If you really get to know somebody, you're gonna learn so much about, you know, how they feel about things. And there are people out there, you're gonna get to know them and they're gonna be really emotionally shallow, I guess. And they're not gonna care. And I've met those kind of people where I've gotten to know those kinds of people. But then there are people, like some of the people I've dated in the past and some friends I've had in the past, that appear to be really emotionally shallow on the surface, but are very just, like, everything really does affect them, and they really do care about things, and they really do, I don't know, it's just, I think that's such a beautiful thing. And it really helped me to learn that, I guess, over the years. And now I really do think that they were wrong. I really do think that they were wrong to tell me to not be emotional, because there's something that you lose when you can't feel things genuinely. Like one of the biggest things, I guess, is, like, over the years I've been through a lot of relationships, and a lot of them, or most of them, turned out very, very badly. There were very few relationships of mine that ended on an okay note. Almost every single one of them ended in tragedy. And maybe in part because I did get so emotionally involved, because I did genuinely think that I was in love with them and things like that. But each time I would get my heart broken, you know, like, I could feel it getting harder and harder to feel that way again, you know? To the point where when my current boyfriend, Pedro, told me that he loved me, I actually almost broke up with him. Because I was that terrified of being hurt again. But along with that fear, like, being emotional does cause that kind of fear where you are genuinely afraid of being hurt again, because you know you can be hurt again. But that's so beautiful. The fact that you can actually care and actually be hurt and actually be human still. Like, you're still real, you know, and you're still able to be damaged, and you still have, it means you have something left to lose, I guess. You still have something left in there that actually genuinely cares about things, and that's amazing. And along with that tendency, or that chance of being hurt, is this even greater chance of being able to love and be loved so immensely truly. Like, if I had actually gotten to the point where I'd been hurt so many times that I just stopped caring, and I just stopped being able to love and stopped being able to feel like that, which I really feel like I was kind of close to it, honestly. I don't know exactly if I would have been able to or not, but it felt like that for sure. That's for damn sure. But if I actually had been able to get to that point, I would have never been able to be in something as beautiful as I am now. Like, the relationship that I'm in is so it's just really beautiful. And I don't want to like toot my own horn, but it's probably like the best thing ever. All right, it's definitely the best thing ever. And yeah, if I had turned all of my emotions off, if I had learned to stop caring and stop being so vulnerable and stop being so emotional, then yeah, no, I wouldn't have been able to be hurt as much as I have been, but I wouldn't be able to be loved as much as I am now, and I wouldn't be able to, you know, to love others as much as I do now. And I think that's such a big deal. I think that's so important that we actually do love each other, because I think a lot of the hate in the world, a lot of the bad stuff in this world comes from people who either were taught that they're not supposed to be emotional, or just for whatever reason born in a, or like just, yeah, whatever, just couldn't figure out how to be emotional in the first place. And I don't know, I just think if more of us would be true to ourselves and be as vulnerable and open as we were intended to be, I guess, I don't think we would hurt each other as much. I don't think there'd be as much pain as there is in this world right now. But I mean, besides being able to love more, there's other things too. Like, I mean, one of the biggest things that I've learned through Skilling, or through doing Skilling, and, you know, I guess now it's called House Blend, is that being emotional and being able to be open about your emotions can be really healing to other people. And that's one of the biggest reasons that I wanted to bring this series over to this channel now, is that when I talked about things that affected me deeply, there were people out there who would comment and would listen and stuff, and would be like, I thank you for talking about this, because I needed to hear this. I needed to have somebody say this to me. I needed to know, you know, that this was okay, or this was not okay, or whatever, you know, the topic is. They needed to hear about it. And I feel like that's so important for at least for those of us who can be open still, and can be emotional, and can be vulnerable, to put ourselves out there, even if we can get hurt, you know, and say what we need to say, because there are people out there who can't say it, who don't know how to say it, and they need to hear it, and they need to be able to, like, oh, I know, I just want to, I feel like we can be the voice for those who can't be the voice for themselves, you know? And I think that's a really cool thing. I think that's a really cool thing. It's weird to say cool. Cool isn't the word I'm trying to say here. I guess beautiful. I just feel like being cold and cut off only does more hurt to the world than anything else. It does more hurt to you than anybody else could ever do to you, I think. I don't... Because when Pedro told me he loved me and I didn't know what to do because I was so scared, that hurt me, but I think it would have hurt more to hear him say it and then actually genuinely think to myself, I don't love him and I never will be able to love him. Like, I think that would have hurt more than anything else, you know? Like, to just know inside that you'll never be able to do that. And I don't know. It's just, that scares me a little, I guess. It scares me to think that people are out there like that, who have shut themselves off so much that they can no longer feel all the beautiful things that there are to feel in this world. How amazing is it to have something so precious to you that when it goes away, you can feel so genuinely sad about it? You know, like, how amazing is that, you know, like, you can love somebody or something so much that when it's gone, you can feel so sad. Like, have you ever loved something that much? There are people out there who have never loved something that much that they could be that sad when it's gone. And that's, I don't know, it's just, I think that's a really beautiful thing, to be able to be hurt and be able to be sad about something. Like, it means you cared about it so much. And unfortunately, I do know that there are downsides to being super vulnerable. Like, for me, I can't watch the news. I can only take in so much bad news at once before it leaves me flat on my back and I can't do anything for, like, the next day or so. Like, I know that for myself, and I guess because I am so open about my emotions, that I am able to know that for myself. I've been able to identify, like, okay, if I'm gonna be this vulnerable all the time, that I do need to take some precautions to make sure that I don't get hurt as often as I possibly could be. You know, I need to make sure that I don't watch the news that much, and, you know, if there's a big crisis happening on Twitter, or if a big crisis happening in the world and people are talking about it on Twitter and Tumblr and stuff, like, okay, I need to take some time and go listen to some relaxing music or go draw something and do something else that's going to help me relax, because otherwise I'm going to get really anxious. I'm going to be really sad for a few days, you know, and I know that for myself. And people who are very emotional, either they already know these things about themselves or they need to figure it out, because it is important to be able to protect yourself sometimes. You know, like there's times where you do need to feel sad. But there's times where maybe it doesn't directly affect you, and you need to take a step back and just not expose yourself to the things that can hurt you that much. Like, I care a lot about world issues, but because of how much it hurts me to know about all the bad things happening in the world, I do have to take a step back from them and make sure that I don't watch the news as much, and make sure I don't, you know, click on every single Tumblr article that, you know, talks about all the horrible things happening out there. I just need to take a step back and just be in my own little world. And I think that's fine, because you can still, it's still being able to be vulnerable, but it's self-care, you know? You're not hurting yourself by forcing yourself to care about everything. You know, you need to take it in stride as much as you can, you know? But in the end, I feel like it is that much more valuable to be able to be upset by these things than it would be to just, like, oh man, I dated somebody once who, during the time that we dated, there was a school shooting, and, you know, a lot of kids died, and he made so many jokes, and it made me sick to my stomach. I don't even know why I didn't break up with him right then and there. I really should have. That's definitely a warning sign. It's definitely a big red flag. But, he made all these jokes, and I got upset with him. I was like, look, could you just stop? Like, first of all, I don't, like, it was like one of the things, like, I didn't want to think about it because it made me that upset. And then I didn't want to think about it as something that would make other people laugh, that would make other people amused. Like, it's one thing to, it wasn't okay. It really wasn't okay. And I can't imagine being like that. I can't imagine being the kind of person that just, I don't know, that just, like, it's one thing to make jokes about a tragedy. Like, you know, people will make jokes about, I don't know, I guess, like, the Titanic or something, you know? And I guess it's something, like, the difference between making a joke about, you know, like Abraham Lincoln being shot and, you know, and 9/11 is that 9/11 is still very fresh in people's minds. It's something that still affects people these days, you know, but the Lincoln assassination, nobody alive now was alive back then, or if they were, you know, your grandma or great-grandma is, like, super duper old, oh my god, and maybe she can be upset about it, but, you know, the average person isn't going to feel anything emotionally about this event because they weren't there for it, and it wasn't something that directly affected them, unless they, I don't know, maybe there's a huge Abraham Lincoln fan out there who would get very upset with you for talking about it, but, you know, like, there's such a difference between making a joke about something bad that happened, like, 100 years ago and nobody's alive to feel the emotions of it, than it is to make a joke about something that just happened, or happened a few years ago, or happened 10 years ago, you know, and talking about it to people who were alive to be affected by it, you know, or people who are alive who, you know, maybe never got to meet their older sister because, you know, they were born after 9/11 and their sister died in the accident or whatever, or the tragedy, whatever, you know, that kind of thing. It's like, it's such a big difference. And it's just, it really freaks me out that people can be like that. It really freaks me out. And I don't get it. But I don't get more how people can tell other people that it's bad to be that way. Or bad to be this way, I guess. The way I am. Like, the way I'm really feelsy. Really emotional. Really vulnerable. I don't understand why it has to be such a bad thing. Why does it have to be such a bad thing to be able to be hurt? Why does it have to be such a bad thing to be able to genuinely love your friends and your family and, you know, your significant other? Why does it have to be so bad to genuinely love anything? You know, like people who are big fans of stuff are considered you know, like, weird and abnormal for being that big of a fan about something, and it's like, they love something so much that they're willing to go and do all this fan art and write all these fan fictions and do all this stuff to, you know, cosplay and everything because they love something that much. That's amazing. That's beautiful. Why are we making fun of that? It's become such a social norm to make fun of people who care about things. And I hate that. I freaking hate that. That is so stupid. Why do we hurt ourselves for caring about stuff? That is so dumb. I don't know. Just, I guess at this point I am getting a little bit away from the initial topic, which is why I think being emotional is a good thing. So I guess I just want to leave you off with, don't listen to people who tell you to stop feeling. I mean, I guess you can take this as you will, and if you think they're right, then you know what, go ahead. It's not something that I can control, and I'm not trying to control you with any of what I'm saying. I'm just putting my opinion out there. I don't think you should listen to people who tell you to stop being emotional and stop being vulnerable. I think what you have is beautiful and amazing. I think what you have is really precious, and I think if you hold on to it, it's going to be something that will reward you in the end. When you find somebody or something that makes you so immensely happy that you just can't even control it, you can't hide it, you can't, you know, it's gonna reward you in the end. I really do believe that. I really do believe that it's gonna be better off in the end. Even if it's gonna hurt a lot more along the way. The lows might be really low, but the highs are gonna be so worth it. It's gonna be so good. I genuinely believe that. I really do believe that. And, I don't know. I guess we're just gonna leave that off like that. I really didn't intend to talk for almost half an hour now. So I'm gonna try to wrap this outro up real quick. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed what I talked about. Hope you enjoyed the speed art in the background. I'm actually very proud of this. And I want to do more illustrations in the future. It's not something that I focus on a lot, but I do want to focus on illustration a lot more now. And yeah, if you did like this, I would appreciate if you would leave a like on this video, because hitting the like button really does help me a lot. It helps me to know, for one, that you liked the content, I guess, and it helps other people. It helps YouTube know that people like my stuff, and it shows more people my stuff. I'll start showing up in sidebars and stuff, and that's important to me because I do want to grow this channel, and I do want to spread... I want to spread this... I want people to be able to... Okay. I want to do House Blend like this for the same reason I wanted to do Skill Link, which is because I do think that there are some things that need to be said that people need to hear. Some people need to hear things, and sometimes it's not a good place for people to say them, I guess. Like, I do think some people out there need to hear that it's okay for them to feel the things that they're feeling. I do think that there are people out there who really need to hear your emotions are validated. You should not feel bad for feeling something, you know? I think that's important, and that's why I think it's important for me to grow this channel, because I do want to be able to have as much of a reach as possible so that as many people as possible can hear these things that they may need to hear. That's why it's important that you leave a like. If this is your first time watching any of my videos, then I guess you can... Okay, there's two options here. You can... well, one of the options is definitely to subscribe to see more in the future. Please do that if you enjoyed this anyway. The other thing you can do right now, so that you don't have to wait, is to go back to my old channel. I'll try to leave the link in the description. It's always, the link to the old channel is always up on the banner on my homepage, or home YouTube page, I guess. When you visit the homepage of my channel, there'll be a little icon, a little YouTube icon up there. It'll say old channel. Click on that. You can go watch the other series. Like I said, it was called Skill Link. So if you want to hear... If you didn't come from the old channel, I guess, and you want to hear more of what I have to say, then you can go back, and there should be like a Skill Link playlist. Maybe I'll link that in the description. And you can listen to other things that I had to say, so you don't have to wait any longer if you really want to hear more of my ramblings, I guess. Wow, I said I was going to make this short, didn't I? Anyway, yeah, please subscribe if you're not subscribed and you enjoyed this. And please feel free to comment down below, letting me know, you know, I guess what you think about this. What do you think about what I've had to say today about being emotional and vulnerable? Are you the type of person who is emotional and vulnerable? Are you the type of person who never really felt that strongly about anything? Because I actually would love to hear about that, because I genuinely, it is one of those things that I don't understand, and I would love to hear what you, like, I would love to hear from somebody who does feel that way, who doesn't feel the same way as I do, I suppose. I think that would be a good learning experience for me to hear from somebody like, no, I've never really felt very strongly about anything, and this is how I go through life, whatever. You know, it would be really, I think that would be very informative for me. So yeah, please feel free to comment down below. I will try to talk to everybody. I usually do try to talk to everybody. And yeah. Please, if you have any topics or anything that you would like me to talk about in the future, please leave those in the comments down below as well. I will keep a running list of things that people want me to talk about, so that I can, yeah, so I can visit or revisit those topics. And yeah, I guess that's about it. What did I say? I said like, subscribe, comment. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking through this long. It's been half an hour. Oh my lord, I'm so sorry. And I will see you next time. So have a great rest of your day, guys. Bye.